You know, it only takes about 30 seconds of Googling to find pictures or videos of me in various states of dress or lack thereof. And you might think for somebody who identifies as a spiritual coach and guide and author of books that that's a very interesting choice to make. And it is. In today's world, it absolutely is. Because we're taught, we're trained to separate the physical from the more spiritual. We're told our bodies, at least I was told this growing up, our bodies need to be kept private, that they're sinful perhaps, dirty, shameful maybe even. Whereas spirit is something beyond the mundane, beyond the gross, beyond the physical. It's something lofty and far beyond us. And I've come to believe that that's bullshit. I really have. I think it is completely wrong and damaging. Actually, I think it's completely damaging to tell people from the beginning of their life that there's something shameful or inherently wrong or dirty about their bodies and it needs to be hidden. I think it's done damage on the personal level with so many people dealing with wounds around identity, keeping parts of themselves hidden that shouldn't be, that cause a lot of pain and suffering for their family and loved ones because they can't be honest with themselves about who they are. But it's also caused pain on a societal level because I think it's so much of the damage that we do towards each other comes from the place of self-torment. I think so much of the hate that exists in the world stems from our disconnect from self, our fear of self, our hatred even of self. What if instead of being told as a kid that you were born a sinner, what if we told that you were born a blessing, that you were something sacred from moment one, instead of being trained and told that your body must be covered at all times, or that if you want to be taken seriously in the world, you have to wear a suit or a dress. You have to, button up. You have to keep everything from Adam's apple up and the wrists forward. Those are the only parts that are allowed to be exposed. Everything else must be covered. We'll take you more seriously if it's covered. Versus, you look at the ancient Greeks. You could walk out the house butt naked. You could just drape a piece of cloth of fabric over your arm and say, I'm dressed today. Isn't that fun? Not here, though. Not here. We would look at those people, or people frequently do. They look at me and say, no one's going to take you seriously dressed like that. No one's going to invite you on their really serious, thoughtful podcast about spirituality or personal growth. You're not going to get any brand deals. You're not going to get any major sponsors. And it's largely been true. But what I do have, you can't go to the bank for this, but I do have integrity. I have integrity to my thought that the body and spirit should never have been split. I have the integrity to say, you can see all of me. And I have the integrity to allow my spiritual offerings, whether that's the retreats I run or the workshops I host or even the one-on-one coaching that I do, to make it sliding scales so whoever wants to come can come regardless of their financial position. I don't take a paycheck from anything that my spiritual work generates. I don't take a paycheck from my book sales. I don't take it from my coaching practice. I don't take it from retreats. All of that money gets reinvested in the business to create space for people to come. I take a paycheck from my more naked offerings. My subscription platform, that people can opt in to see me in states of undressed and more intimate acts with my partner, with myself. And what's great about those spaces, it's not divorced from the public persona. You don't log on there and see me as being, this latex-covered kinky dom berating people. I'm still having unclothed conversations about self-worth. I'm still inviting people to breathe and come back to their body. I'm inviting people to be playful and re-inhabit their physical selves. But that allows me to then make my more traditionally spiritual offerings accessible to others. And I love that. I love that I can sell nude photos to sponsor a retreat so a person in their 20s who's working 2 jobs and still has student loan debt can afford to come on a retreat. I traded propriety and mass market appeal for sharing my full self. And, I have a book coming out in March. And it's coming out with a wonderful publisher, Sibling Rivalry Press. They're the people who discovered Ocean Vuong. They won a Pulitzer Prize. They're regarded as one of the best queer literary presses in the United States. But I was convinced that no one would ever traditionally publish my work because I'd be too much of a liability for them, that they'd log on and see me and say, oh, yeah, we're not touching that. No way in hell. And for a traditional Big Five publisher, that probably is still very much true. So I was shocked when the founder of Sibling Rivalry reached out to me and said, I love you. I love your energy. I love what you're putting out in the world. I'm a spiritual, sex-positive, kinky guy myself. Yes to this. I never thought that would happen. I thought I traded away any semblance of traditional appeal or marketability by choosing to show up this way. And I'm delighted. It's going to be a better book for their involvement, and I love how it's shaping up, and I hope you check it out when it launches in March of next year. But I felt okay with fully embracing my outsider status, because for me, the thing that I've learned is truly the best people I've encountered on this planet are the ones who realize that it's all performative bullshit. The suits and ties and loafers and briefcases, it's all drag. It's all a costume. And sometimes the kinkiest people you meet are the ones who have the most traditional jobs and you wouldn't suspect it. And I think that's a lack of integrity. I think it's, well, it is. I don't just think it is. It's called splitting. I'm one person here and I'm another person over here. I'm one person in the boardroom and with my family. I'm another person in the dive bar and the sex club. And I think that's unhealthy. You know, we pay a lot of lip service to the notion of wholeness, but if we're truly going to be whole, that means all of you needs to show up. Every single part of you. Your bright, shiny bits that are socially acceptable, and also your shameful, shadowy bits that you wish nobody ever knew about. And it's not just queer people. It's not just about your orientation. It could be about what turns you on. It could be about your gender differences. It could be about a host of different things that people keep shoved into closets and basements and attics, pretending it's not there. And I think some of the most hate-filled people we see online and in media and in real life are often the people who are the most afraid of their full selves, afraid that if anyone ever found out what they truly gets them off, if ever that became public, they would be socially disgraced. The people who berate others and chastise others are often the people who secretly hate themselves. Not always, but a lot of times it's true. A lot of times the biggest homophobes are the ones who are struggling with their same-sex attraction. Often the people who are most chastising of other people's kinks are the people who are secretly got a sex dungeon in their basement, you know? And I think the people who have learned to recognize the bullshit and the hypocrisy and say, you know what, fuck this. This is all of me, take me or leave me, love me in my entirety, or go find somebody else. Those are often the most beautiful people. And I don't mean externally, I mean from here, because I truly believe what makes somebody beautiful is what shines from the heart. The people who have learned to stop taking themselves and life seriously, the people who have been willing to risk being rejected by society for their entirety, the people who are willing to show up nakedly, proverbially and literally. You know, I often say queer spaces are very unwelcoming. You go to a gay bar and people can be quite cruel. But you go to a queer naked space, like you go to a clothing optional campground or a nude event, people are so much friendlier. And I don't just mean this for me, because yes, I recognize I come into spaces with quite a bit of privilege, but I see this time and time again. You know, when I host retreats, they're clothing optional. And there are people who sometimes come with expectations or hopes or saying, you know, I don't want to engage with people who I wouldn't find attractive. And I say, that's not the point. The point isn't about, you know, you finding people attractive. The point is about revealing your humanity. The point is learning to appreciate each other, to see and be seen, to be vulnerable, to be authentic, to connect with something larger than yourself in a deep, meaningful human way. And without fail, people get it. When you strip away the Gucci and the Prada and the designer denim, what you're left with is something more honest. And so, yeah, I use my body to fund my spiritual work, and I use it to allow more people access. And at the same time, I give up something through that. But it's something I'm immensely proud to do. And it may seem confusing in this world, and it may get me shadow banned on platforms like TikTok, which now has, you know, made my reach effectively zero. But I wouldn't change it, because at the end of the day, I get to go to bed feeling really good about how I showed up. If you ever chat with my husband, he'll tell you the person that you see in these videos is exactly the same person as you'll meet in real life. I don't perform a character. I don't pretend to be something other than I am. This is just me. And I share all of me. And I love the fact that you can spend 30 seconds online and say, oh, I just saw all of Caitlin. Great, beautiful. It's more honest that way. Now that you've seen all of it, we find out what's underneath it. Let's go into that deeper space. So, yeah, it's an untraditional path to walk. And there are people who will not understand it. But for me, it's a good path. It's one I would choose again and again. And I do every day. And I hope this inspires you, even in some small way, to follow your truth, your authentic inner self, to bear all, and to trust that people will see you and respect you for it. That you'll be cherished for your honesty, for your inner light. Because at the end of the day, we live in a world now where you can hide behind a lot of different facades. Hell, you could even create a completely different avatar to speak on your behalf, and people could probably not even tell the difference. So what is it like to be fully human? What is it like to say, this is all of me?